Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. So it's been a few days since the cargo ship slammed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge and caused its collapse. Baltimore longshoremen worried to death for livelihoods after Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. The hardworking longshoremen at the port of Baltimore are worried to death about their livelihood following the deadly collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which has brought work at the busy shipping channel to a complete standstill. So what's happened, apparently, is the entire port is now shut down. Traffic cannot go in and out past this bridge, apparently. So Scott Cowan, the president of the International Longshoremen's Association, local number 333, Port of Baltimore, expressed those concerns to the Post on Wednesday, noting that longshoremen are hired daily, so when there are no ships or cargo, there is no work. As long as the shipping channel is closed, it's going to be virtually no work for our people, he said. The longshoremen who unload and reload the ships daily will likely be laid off due to the lack of work after the bridge crumbled and fell into the Patapsco River early Tuesday morning after being struck by a cargo ship. No ships arrived at the once bustling port on Wednesday, and only one was scheduled to arrive on the south side of the fallen bridge on Thursday. Anybody directly related to the port is going to get affected by this, but the longshoremen are on the front lines, Cohen said. The level of uncertainty has left the 2,400 members of Cohen's union petrified. The Port of Baltimore itself is responsible for nearly $80 billion in cargo and creates more than 15,300 jobs, with 140,000 jobs linked to the activity at the port. This is how they make their living, he said, noting the career is a sought-after, lucrative blue-collar job. An anomaly happening like this changes the game, he added. We worked all through the pandemic. We didn't miss a beat. We made sure all those goods came through these ports and went to the consumer, he said. Now it's reversed. No goods are coming. The goods will come through another port and the consumers will still get them, but our longshore workers are not working. This sounds like an opportunity where, the federal government could actually come through and do some good for the American people, the American workers, especially these guys who are the ones that keep our country basically flowing with products and, everything like that. And there might be some insurance companies involved that would be obligated to help out first. But in my opinion, I would rather see $1 billion or whatever go to these guys over here who, like he said, worked through the pandemic. They are dedicated to their job and they're actually, front line to keeping the economy flowing. If they would have all shut down like the rest of us, a lot of people would have lost their lives, frankly. So in the day and age where our federal government loves giving money to foreign countries to fight wars that we don't even support, or that American, taxpayers don't support at least, it would just seem proper to go ahead and take care of these folks, right? I mean, it's not their fault that the bridge collapsed. Cohen says he hopes some funding at both the local and federal level comes through to help the union members get by the next several weeks while the bridge is repaired. Officials have warned rebuilding the bridge may take years. Longtime longshoreman Anthony White said all he could think about when he heard the bridge collapse was, "Oh, Lord, what am I going to do?" White, a 56-year-old single dad of 2 daughters, is now terrified of his bills piling up. "I sit back and I worry about whether I'm going to be able to pay my mortgage bills and if I'm going to be able to pay my truck payment. Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried to death," he said Wednesday at the port, where he had been since 5:30 a.m. hoping to get some work. "I don't have seniority to go where I really want to go in this sport, so right now I have to do and take whatever I can get. But at this point, there is nothing to get. People are now sitting around and don't have anything to do," he said, gesturing to a handful of nearby out-of-work longshoremen. "It's going to get worse as those days go." Many longshoremen who would load and disload vessels in the Port of Baltimore used to be street guys. Now they have a job they can look forward to, and it's a beautiful thing, he said. "I would hate for guys to go back to the streets and do something wrong to protect their families and stuff like that." White, who estimates he made around $100,000 last year working 7 days a week at the port, now fears repairing the bridge will take much longer than any of the workers can withstand. "It means everything to me. He said, without this job, there is no me. Without this job, I can't take care of my family. We are really in trouble here," White added. "I just hope that President Biden decides that this will go federal. I hope he does something to the Port of Baltimore to help everybody down here." I mean, and that's one of those controversial topics where should taxpayer dollars fund the rebuilding of this bridge, or should the company who slammed their boat into it pay for the rebuilding of this bridge? And I get that there's some, red tape as far as insurance litigation. People are going to try to fight their responsibility of having to pay for this repair. Maybe the government should fit the bill up front and then seek repayment later on. Just trying to think of ways that they could get this bridge rebuilt where it doesn't have to be an additional burden on the American taxpayers' dollars, which have no fault here. You know what I mean? But President Joe Biden has vowed to move heaven and earth to help repair the bridge and help those employed at the Port of Baltimore. We're going to do everything we can to protect those jobs and help those workers, the president said Tuesday. And so, guys, I just wanted to highlight that, let you know a little bit of what's going on beyond the bridge. This is just the story of a couple people, but I believe that these guys represent the majority of the individuals over there who need work but aren't getting it due to this bridge collapse. Guys that worked through the pandemic, put themselves at risk, especially at the beginning, right? Nobody knew what exactly was going on. So the fact that these dudes remained steadfast and kept the American economy flowing as good as they could, I just don't want to see them get hung out to dry. You know what I mean? And so it's Good Friday. Easter is on Sunday. Say a prayer for these folks. And with that, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up. And on your way out, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.